Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of KPW War Zone. It is I, Tabby Styles, calling the action right down the middle, flying solo as always, and it looks like we're not gonna have to wait that much longer for action, as one of the leading contenders in the KPW American Championship division, the Rhinestone Cowboy, is looking to take on his personal Goliath here tonight. The 7'4", 525 pounder, the man beast himself, Crisp Billy. We also have plenty of exciting action to follow up throughout the night. We have Dang back in action once again, as he'll be taking on Greek Machismo, Nick Flawless. In our main event of the evening, we'll also be seeing a KPW Twitch Championship contender to determine who will get the first shot at T-Nova at Hysteria on the 25th. Will it be Hosway? Will it be Pierre Cinema? We will find out as the night progresses. But also still to come, tag team action as the Boise boys will be taking on their old rivals in the Raging Bulls. Later on in the program, we'll also be hearing from Dynamite Danny Axel after the explosive set of events that we've seen in the past week regarding him and Robbie Deuce. But if you want to talk about explosive, wait until the end of the show, where we will hear from that Judas, that the man that stabbed his brother in the back, the Pitbull, K-Dogg, tells all later tonight. The Sauce making one hell of an opening negotiation here. Back-to-back slams. He's looking to put this away before it even gets started here. And that's the best course of action when you're dealing with a former world champion in Crisp Billy. Oh, for another scoop slam, and he gets it. He's turning this into one hell of a workout. This may be the damnedest start that I've ever seen to a match here in KPW history. Chris Billy trying to even up the odds as much as he can with that running DDT. And the Sauce with a suplex on a 500-pound man. The Sauce made one hell of a bid last week on the anniversary edition of Warzone, coming to the aid of our American champion, the man that broke the curse, Sergeant Foxtrot, a man that successfully defended the gold last week against Big Bernard, only to be met with an even bigger giant in Crisp Billy. But that giant was almost vanquished here tonight, courtesy of a small package. The Sauce staying firmly within the reach of Crisp Billy. A bold maneuver here by the Rhinestone Cowboy, but it is absolutely paying off here. And the Sauce! Jesus!
1, 2, 3, pinfall.
The Rhinestone Cowboys just taking no prisoners. Think of the message. Think of the message this sends to the Sarge. Dumping a 500-plus pounder on his freaking neck. Taking a page out of the book of Crisp Billy. Absolute decimation to kick off Warzone here tonight. as the Sauce makes one hell of a statement to the American Championship division, to the champion Sergeant Foxtrot, watching from the monitors in the back as he plants Chris Billy emphatically with the GFD, the George Foreman drill, that patented tombstone. If this is what the Sauce is capable of doing to a man twice his size, think about how deep, how much digging the American champion's gonna have to do to survive Hysteria on the 25th. Now that he knows that the Rhinestone Cowboy, the man that just laid out Chris Billy in back-to-back weeks, is awaiting him. But that's only implications for the American Championship division. What still lies ahead? The Twitch Championship. More specifically, who will be the next contender for the KPW Twitch Championship? We saw one hell of a shock result back at Spring Stampede, a show that you could catch on demand, as Steven Gielberg walked into that show looking to make one hell of a redemption for himself, looking to set things straight as a dominant champion. And what he ended up getting was the debut of not just James KZ, but the man that is now our Twitch champion, T-Nova, and that is watching from the sky boxes. He's gonna have a bird's eye view on this one as the star attraction takes on the prodigal son. Pierre Cinema takes on Hosway in a high stakes contender. One of these two men will be getting a Twitch championship match in just 3 weeks time, folks. Let's head on down to ringside to get a little bit more action. Pierre Cinema making his grand return at Spring Stampede. He made it all the way to the final 2 of the Lethal Lottery match, where he was bested by his old rival, the Viceroy, the 2026 Lethal Lottery contract holder. In Jedi, he holds all the leverage in that locker room. He could cash in that contract at any given point in the next year. Considering the situation, the dire situation that we saw from Popcorn Papi last week. He has never been so vulnerable in his career up to this point. You saw K-Dogg shock the world, turn his back on his brethren. Who knows where Solo stands in all this? Who knows where Popo stands in all this? We're hoping to get more answers regarding the events that transpired just 1 week ago. And we'll get it straight from the horse's mouth. The pit bull is in the Kumite Forum here tonight. High octane action between Pierre Cinema and Hosway. Armbar counter, but Pierre scrambles for the ropes. eye vertical suplex from Pierre Cinema. He is looking in tip-top condition. As he shocked the world at the Stampede, making his grand return way ahead of schedule. We saw the beatdown that he took at the hands of the director, Steven Gilbert, all those months ago at Ignition. One of the most grueling matches that this company's ever seen, that submission match. Who knows how much time has been shaved off the career of Pierre Cinema. But for Hosway, this is all about a new chapter in his career. He didn't get the fairy tale ending that he wanted at Spring Stampede, but he's looking to do things a more honorable path. He's looking to roll with the changes, roll with the punches, and he's looking to dish out plenty of them here tonight. Flying forearm from the top. Pierre catches the right hand of Hosway, drills him with a right punch of his own. Sleeper hold cinched in deep. And Hosway fights his way free. Irish whip looking to meet in the middle. Hurricane Rana onto the star attraction, France's greatest export. As he clears the ring of Pierre Cinema. That's why looking to get a little froggy here tonight. And now is Pierre giving him a receipt, clearing the ring himself, a taste of his own medicine. Both of these men, former KPW Twitch champions in times immemorial. Both one-time Twitch champions. Pierre Cinema having a bit more on his resume here, folks. A former world heavyweight champion. He has been around the wrestling world in just 80 days last year. On top of the mountain, a mountain that is reserved for only the most elite of combatants. Man with all the cards in the deck, the man standing on top of that mountain, a bit more isolated than he would want to be. It's of course a Street Fighter, Popcorn Papi. A man that took down Hando after 211 days of terror. An absolutely unparalleled run here in KPW. And we know damn well that T Nova is watching this in the back. He wants to make absolutely sure that he could get a run of that caliber fresh off the bat. As it hasn't even been 2 full weeks since he's been a part of the company. And he's made one hell of a strong impression. Won the Twitch Championship in his first match. Went toe-to-toe with Dynamite Danny Axel last week. Keeping up with him every step of the way. Drop toe hold by Hosway. And he's in quite a similar position as T Nova. He still has everything to prove. And Pierre Cinema, he's looking to just hang in the balance. There's very few things within KPW that Pierre Cinema has yet to achieve. spin kick takes Pierre Cinema out of the ring here. Corkscrew senton, but nobody home. That is why they call it high risk, high reward, folks.
7, 8, 9.
Hosway was looking to take the gamble of his life. And now Pierre Cinema looking to show him how it's done. And now it's Hosway getting out of harm's way.
6, 7.
The hell of a gamble from both these men. This is
9,
what the Twitch Championship
11.
means to both of these men. This is exactly the opportunities that they've been fighting for. A battle of old versus the new. You can see the potential bursting from the seams. With somebody like Hosway, you can see all the grit, the tenacity, the equity that a man like Pierre Cinema has built up with these fans. A type of equity that was damn near destroyed several months ago. But he persevered with his sheer talent, his sheer athleticism. A 2 count courtesy of Slap-Thigh Jones here. Bang kick. Magistral cradle.
1, 2.
Arms trapped, and Pierre kicks out at 2. Harsh whip. Hosway adopting a different strategy again, a bit more aggressive here. That's exactly what he's going to need to do to take the fight right to Pierre Cinema. He drills Pierre's head right into that turnbuckle pad. A whole lot of cushioning on that pad to begin with, but there's no cushioning for what Hosway just dished out. A back suplex from the top. And by sheer unrepentant adrenaline, Pierre Cinema is still on his own 2 feet. Hurricane to take him down. Pierre knows the danger that he could be facing himself with. He is shifting into that second gear in real time as we speak here, folks. Kick to the thigh sends Pierre through the ropes. A shotgun drop kick takes him out of the ring and down to the floor right in front of us. Senton from the top down to the floor, courtesy of the prodigal son, Hosway.
8, 9.
And it's been quite some time since we've seen Pierre Cinema
2.
challenged on such an athletic ability. He's never been
5,
put in this kind of position before.
7.
Third time's a charm for Hosway as he secures that corkscrew plancha. Trip it up, Pierre. Tope con hello over the top rope and into the ring. Lateral press.
Count 2.
And Pierre's still in it. He still has some fight left in him. And we've seen Pierre put on some serious marathons here. He's embarked on some serious journeys here in KPW. Who could forget all those months ago back at Euphoria? And it was him and the current Lethal Lottery contract holder, the Viceroy Jedi, joining forces for one night only against the Bam Bus in a 60-minute Iron Man tag match. Pierre Cinema was not the recipient of a single pinfall or submission throughout that entire 60-minute bout. Perfect storm from Hosway, hooking the leg.
Count 2.
And Pierre is still in there. He is still kicking. It took every fiber of his being, every carbon that makes up his body, moving in one solitary direction to power through that. Suplex attempted by Pierre Cinema, but Hosway floats over. O'Connor roll.
1, 2. Count 2.
And another kick out by Pierre Cinema. It's not very often where you see a man like Pierre Cinema presented as the underdog, pushed into such situations where he could become one. And yet here we are with Hosway making one hell of a routine out of this, sizing up Pierre from the top rope. Look at us soar halfway across the ring with that flying forearm. And Hosway going back up to another corner, looking to get some serious hang time, but Pierre avoids certain disaster. Almost drilled with the Hosway hangover. Digging even deeper into his repertoire. He's getting a little bit desperate, trying to figure out what could actually put away this man. Pierre Cinema getting the upper hand even for just a moment. That is dangerous. That is a precarious position for the prodigal son in Hosway. A man that feels anything but prodigal. More accurate term, given recent events, given the past several months, might be a disgraced son in the eyes of one Oliver English. Hurricane Rana, but Pierre's feet are on the ropes. Good call from referee Slap Thigh Jones. Spinning wheel kick from Pierre. He struggles to get back to that vertical base. Trap in the arms, a belly to belly. Following up with another spinning wheel. High kick from Hosway. Hurricane Rana. As Hosway looks to chop down Pierre Cinema by the legs, piece by piece. And look at the strategy that has just been on full display here tonight. With Hosway, he is making a conceited effort to cut Pierre Cinema in half, and he has seen some insane results from it. Pierre Cinema looking a bit out of step, a little bit out of sync from the targeted offense from Hosway here tonight.
Break.
High kick denied by Pierre Cinema, but Hosway goes a little bit lower to yield better results. Another magistral cradle, but Pierre's at the ropes. Running senton, hook in the leg. And another kick out by Pierre. Where is he harnessing all this energy from?
1, 2, count 2.
The cardio, the endurance from Pierre Cinema is one of the best in the business. It's what makes him such a serious threat. It's what's made him a world champion in the past. What's made him a Twitch champion. And that's everything for T-Nova to worry about. Should Pierre run away with this and then go on to face him on the 25th? Spinning wheel kick by Pierre. A hard right hook by Hosway. Another right hook takes down Pierre. And Hosway, he is a strapping young lad. He is getting a bit cocky in that ring. He's getting a bit more confident with every step that he takes. But every time he gets a little bit cockier, a little bit more confident, a little bit more inflated by his own ego, Pierre Cinema is just right there to close the gap. And those openings have allowed Pierre to drill him with the Starstruck DDT, and Hosway's back up. Luthez press.
2, count 2.
And Pierre almost escaped the forum here tonight. I am just at a loss of words here. The comeback that Pierre Cinema's been able to mount up after the past 10 to 15 minutes of domination, courtesy of Hosway. But all it takes is one mistake. Star-struck DDT. And Pierre, he's not giving any benefit of the doubt. He's not going to let Hosway walk away from that. A second Starstruck.
1, 2, 3, pinfall.
And after a hard-fought battle, one that would welcome Pierre Cinema properly into the graces of KPW once again, after 18 minutes of high-octane bell-to-bell action. What the hell is this? Oliver English storming through the crowd. Taking the spotlight off of Pierre Cinema. Who's barely even able to stand at this point. He went through his... That was effectively a final stand from the Star Attraction. But Oliver English, he's looking to make things even more personal between him and Hosway. He's looking to escalate things even further as he's taking control. He's got his hands on a ladder as he just clocks him. Short arm clothesline onto the ladder. And Oliver English, he may have the victory from Spring Stampede, but he's clearly not satisfied. The way things went that night, he wants to take even more even more from the prodigal son.
You thought it was over at the Stampede? Hosway, I don't give a damn if you or Tori or anyone else doesn't want to accept me. At the end of the night, I am still your dear leader. You can walk away as far as you wish, all you'll come to find out is that my empire stretches from sea to goddamn sea, bruv. But what sickens me the most is that you think you're above me. You think you had some kind of high ground. Hysteria is coming real soon, Hosway, and allegiance or not, I am still your master and ruler. You. And that bitch Tori as well. You'll both find out firsthand when you bite the hand that feeds you. Your hands will be too weak to climb out of the hole you've dug for yourself, and I will lead you forevermore. I can even lead you in your own home field. I know you aren't afraid of heights, Hosway. You'll get 1 week to negotiate your terms of servitude. Because for everything you've slighted against me, you don't deserve to reach the clouds of heaven, and I will not let you reach that run on the 25th.
Oliver English. Establishing just how personal it is. How personal of a mission this is for him. His great vision, his control over the likes of Kruger and Papyrus, and Tori especially, just completely shattered in the span of mere weeks by Hosway. They're going to throw down one hell of a challenge for Hysteria on the 25th. As Hosway has 1 week to respond, he has to get his bearings straightened out. And Pierre Cinema looking on from atop the ramp. You just know damn well none of this is sitting well with Pierre Cinema atop the ramp. Having the spotlight taken away from him. Coming up next, though, tag team action as an old rivalry reignites for one night. The Raging Bulls take on the Boise Boys here tonight. David Rush, Hollywood Hannon, they mean business when it comes to this tag team division. They have been at the forefront of it all for the past several years. They're record-setting 3-time tag team champions. And here comes a team that came so close, so dangerously close to achieving it for their first time at the Stampede. The Raging Bulls. An opportunity that was taken away from them by the First Nation, by Slarty, by Shuko. They find themselves back at square one here. It seemed like they had the upper hand on the First Nation at Spring Stampede, and they had one hell of a night themselves. Slarty, Shuko, a hell of a performance in the 2026 Lethal Lottery match. And then they went another 40 minutes against the Raging Bulls for the tag team championships. Pair championships that they only retained by virtue of countout. Mojo Perry, Willie Nixon, the Raging Bulls, and the orange with silver trim. The Boise Boys in black and blue. Hollywood Hannon having one hell of a night for himself at Spring Stampede as well. He went quite the distance in the Lethal Lottery match. Only 2 people were in the match longer than Hollywood Hannon was.
1, 2,
One of those men being the king of Stego style, Corey Sinclair.
5, 6,
A man that has left the country on excursion.
9, 10, 11,
Looking to rediscover himself, looking to figure out who he is as a human being,
14,
figuring out how to tighten up his game.
16,
Another man in the mix, however, the Diamond Dragon Opulence made it as far as the final 3. And he is very much still tending to a lot of those battle scars attained in the ring during that Lethal Lottery matchup. But speaking of the tag team champions, we will be seeing them in action next week on the program as they take on Ozone, Atmosphere, otherwise known as High Velocity, on the program. You understand that we will be seeing a heartthrob Popo next week on Warzone as well. It'll be the first time anybody has seen or heard from Popo since the night that Bunker Hill imploded just 1 week ago. A man very much caught in the middle of all this, much like Solo. And hopefully we're gonna get a solid explanation of all this. K-Dogg has some serious explaining to do later on tonight. We now know that at Hysteria, we'll be seeing Oliver English and Hosway duke it out once again at terms that have not been finalized at this point in time. Negotiations are open for 1 week for Hosway's party. Tag made out to David Rush. The Boise Boys maintaining control as they always have against the Raging Bulls. Willie Nixon with a forearm to the face of David Rush. Boise Boys looking a bit disheveled, a bit tired, a bit exhausted, but they've been working themselves down to the bone. But this is exactly the kind of pressure that they thrive in. This is exactly what they want the tag team division to be able to do. They want somebody to force them out of the mantle. Drop toe hold by David Rush. Drop kick from Willie Nixon, almost hitting his own tag team partner in the process. Mojo gets the tag. Side suplex by David Rush. Hollywood Hannon moving in for the kill. Assisted power bomb, courtesy of David Rush. Helping out his partner, Hollywood Hannon, who is now the legal man for the Boise Boyz. Seems to be bulking up as of lately. Hollywood Hannon looking a bit more rough, a little bit more rugged. One of the most intense brawlers. One of the most intense strongmen in all of KPW. And he has got a wooden table in his possession. A clubbing strike from Hollywood. Overhead, but not taking down Mojo. Full Nelson slam, a leg drop to follow it up. Mojo hanging strong here, hanging in tough. Single leg Boston Crab. And it's been almost 2 full years since we saw Hollywood Hannon knock out Willie Nixon, brain him, batter him, concuss him with that signature lariat of his. Willie Nixon he's gonna want to get some kind of retribution. He was never able to get that all secured 2 years ago. He has more reason than anybody else in this bout to seek some kind of retribution to try and even the score here. But David Rush, he's not gonna make it easy for Willie Nixon to get his hands on David Rush's own tag team partner. Leg drop from David Rush. Mojo Perry doing whatever he can to provide an assist to his tag team partner. As the Bulls clear the ring, Hollywood Hannon isolated all by himself in one corner of the ring. Willie Nixon, David Rush, the 2 legal men reoccupying the squared circle. As hell is about to break loose between Hollywood Hannon and Mojo Perry. Mojo rushing back over to get a tag. Wishbone split by the Bulls. Headlock takeover by Mojo Perry. Big drop kick. Sends David Rush back. And Hollywood Hannon wants a piece of the action. Big axe handle from Hollywood Hannon, weighing in tonight at roughly 290 pounds. He's got about 50 pounds worth of difference over everybody else involved in this contest. Big boot from Mojo Perry. Headlock takeover by Hollywood. Trying to keep things grounded just exactly the way he likes it. Big running forearm. And he's really braced up that elbow the past week or so. Ever since we saw him at the Stampede, he was dishing out lariats left, right, and center. Mojo Perry attempting a lariat of his own. Hollywood catches it into a reverse armbar. Running shoulder tackle from the near 300-pounder. And the height that Hollywood Hannon was able to procure from that shoulder block, that is just a frightening sight. To see a man of that size, of that nature, cut from that cloth, move as if he was 100 pounds lighter. It might just be a miracle that Hollywood Hannon isn't completely on the offense here tonight. He is giving them the mercy of tagging out to the record breaker, David Rush. Hollywood Hannon holding his own against both of the bulls. He didn't have eyes in the back of his head. Willie Nixon looking to make a move on Hollywood. David Rush is right there to restore the order of this bout. He is looking to restore his order. We know that Slarty, Shuko, the First Nation, we know that they are watching this bout quite intimately. They know that one of these two teams is going to walk over the other to get one step closer to Hysteria on April 25th. Action clearing once again. Mojo Perry with the table. David Rush disarming one half of the Raging Bulls. Body slam onto the table. And now the Boise boys are the ones armed with the table. They can do some serious damage to Willie Nixon once again. And this could be another big what if in a career absolutely plagued with what ifs for the Raging Bulls. What if they became tag team champions? What if they were able to beat the Boise boys? Questions like those have been dangling over the heads of Mojo Perry and Willie Nixon for as long as we've known them here in KPW. Side suplex from Hollywood. Overhead strike onto Mojo Perry. Irish whip. Back body drop. Lumbar region landing on the table. Hollywood, he's practically challenging the Bulls to strike them as hard as they can, strike with all of their might. Because if Hollywood Hannon has it his way, they might not be able to walk away from this here tonight. And that will be one less tag team in the way of the Boise boys as they embark on another journey to make history once again. If they make it to Hysteria, if they get another crack at the First Nation, if they go far enough to win against Slarty and Shuko, definitively win, no countouts, no time limit draws, pinfall or submission only, the Boise boys could become the first ever 4-time champions in KPW history. And that'd be a hell of an achievement here. Count as 17. Hollywood Hand getting a bit distracted. David Rush, he's been holding up his weight. He's been holding up his end of the bargain for the Boise boys. Tag made out to David Rush. He's now the legal man. He is looking to just pick up right where he left off. Running forearm from Willie Nixon. Inside cradle. A 1 count. Only a 1 count for the Raging Bulls. Hollywood returning to his side of the ring, returning to his corner. Willie Nixon in his corner. Mojo Perry, David Rush occupying those international waters, if you will. The tenacious, the barrel-chested David Rush taking the fight right to Mojo Perry. And Mojo, he is putting himself in one hell of a dangerous position. Putting himself right in harm's way against both Boise boys. One would be bad enough.
1, 2,
Mojo takes,
3.
gets taken off the apron, pulls Hollywood down with him. And the Bulls, they gotta be seeing red after what happened at the Stampede. They had it. That was their closest opportunity. That was the closest they ever came to seeing championship gold around their waists. And now it's been rendered to just another what if. Pump handle dropped by Hollywood Hand and with authority. Hollywood stepping in for his tag team partner. Irish whip reversal. Back body drop onto Willie Nixon. Samoan drop, courtesy of Hollywood. There's at least several hundred miles adjacent to Boise, Idaho, the home turf of the Boise boys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
They've dominated the Cascadian territory, the West Passaic territories. They've touched American wrestling from coast to coast. As one of the most dominant tag teams in all the land. The Boise boys, if there has been one team that they've consistently held the high ground over, it's the Raging Bulls. That could change here tonight. We've seen some serious changing of the guards lately here in KPW. We're just 9 days in to a new era, an era with the Street Fighter Popcorn Papi on top as our world heavyweight champion. It's hard to believe that that day has finally come. We've seen an influx of new talent over the past several months, of all varying ranges of experience, of backgrounds. We've seen the likes of Dynamite Danny Axel make his grand return to the ring. We've seen individuals like T Nova, James KZ jump ship to make a name for themselves. Hurricane Rana denied as David Rush just power bombs Willie Nixon onto that table.
One, two, three.
We've even seen blue collar men, the likes of Tim Burr.
Six.
I can't believe he's still. There's no way he was able to convince somebody to give him a KPW contract. Somebody on that board of directors, they begrudgingly held that contract up to him and allowed him to sign. They should have just gave him invisible ink. Nobody would have noticed the difference. That's another story for another time. I can't believe that is a thing that happened in KPW this year. That local lumberyard is still showing off in full force here in the Kumite Forum. Plenty of fans, plenty of Tim Burr fans still packing the arena each and every week. There's still plenty of respect being offered, being thrown about in conjunction to these two teams here tonight. The Raging Bulls, the Boise Boys. They will never, ever see eye to eye here. Not after everything that they've been through against one another. Hollywood Hannon loosening up the wrists just a little bit. Willie Nixon with the hell of an assist. Mojo's fighting back. He gets to Willie Nixon. David Rush getting a bit frustrated on the outside, yelling at Hollywood, just tag out. But Hollywood, he's making some serious work out of Willie Nixon, even for just a moment. Well, all that time spent inside the ring, it is starting to pile up on the body of Hollywood Hannon. The welts beginning to form. He's getting a bit bruised. Might not feel a bit battered, but he will certainly feel all of this tomorrow morning. Not to mention, later on tonight, we will still have a main event underway, as we have yet to see Greek Machismo, Nick Flawless, go one-on-one against the icon, the man they call Ding, David Rush, making a huge gamble with an elbow from the top down to the floor.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Also still to come, we'll be hearing from Dynamite Danny Axel, and that will be coming up next. Of course, we will be hearing from the Pitbull, as he will be in the center of the ring, ready to answer all the questions the fans have been asking for the past week. Why, K-Dogg? Why? After 7 long days, 7 long nights, we might finally get that answer here tonight. Snapmare reversal by David Rush. Drop kick by Mojo Perry. Kicking at David Rush while he was down. No love lost between these 4 men. These wars have not been for the faintest of hearts, weakest of stomachs. David Rush, tandem offense, as he takes the brunt of it from both Raging Bulls. Mojo Perry still with the table as he clears the ring of David Rush.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Big boot by Mojo Perry. Hollywood Hammond jostling for position. He gets the tag. What better time than now to strike? As Hollywood Hammond just clocked Mojo Perry over the face with that wooden table. You can see the splinters along the brow line. Both these teams, they're bruised up, they're cut up. David Rush getting pulled into the crossfire. And Willie Nixon has 2 minutes till midnight to strike. 2 long years looking to get some much needed retribution. Mojo Perry with the assist. Waistlock transition. Schoolboy covering him up.
Count 2.
And oh my God. Hollywood Hannon stays alive, just barely beating the count. 60 seconds left and counting, folks. 30-minute time limits in effect for tag team action on Warzone, especially non-title action. Facelock transition, headbutts to the back of the head of David Rush. Ankle lock cinched in on David Rush, but he's right there at the ropes. Snap DDT. Willie Nixon, he's gonna need to move quick. 15 seconds. Swinging DDT onto the table. And he's looking to make things a bit more personal before the Slot Thigh Jones breaks them up in the corner. This has gone to a time limit draw. What a battle between these two teams. What a absolute onslaught. No love lost between David Rush, Hollywood Hannon, Mojo Perry, Willie Nixon. Turning back the clock to 2024. One night only for the sake of dominance. And it just goes to show how far along the Raging Bulls have come to be able to even the score, to even the odds like this in tag team action. But coming up soon, the icon, the man they call Ding, will be going one-on-one against Greek Machismo, Nick Flawless. But before we get right back down to ringside, you understand that Roger is on standby backstage with Dynamite Danny Axel, looking to ask and make further inquiries about what we saw transpire last week between him and an old friend of his, the wild card, Robbie Deuce. See what that's all about.
Danny, glad we could get a word with you on such short notice. The faithful have been buzzing about what you've had to say in this very eventful week. We saw your conversation with
Roger. I said what I said for a reason last week. You of all people should understand how poisonous he can be. How can anybody in this locker room know if he's serious or not? He doesn't even regret the things he's done, and I think that speaks even louder than whatever cry for help he's made. It's complicated, man, it really is. I've had some great memories back in the day with that man, but whoever is assuming his name here in KPW is a goddamn monster. If he really needs my help, he knows exactly what he has to do first, and atrocities or not. He'd never swallow his pride like that.
I understand that you're placed in a hell of a position dealing with old friends like this. But Robbie Deuce did want to relay some information to you, if I may, and I have it here pinned to paper. Danny, I understand that you're very hesitant to even give me the time of day. You've been there for me before, but I've never needed your help more than I do right now. I told you I needed a guiding light to see this through, and I had to reach the board of directors for this. I've got a match against Bam Dardino in 2 weeks. I figured if there was going to be a way that I can be more disciplined as a wrestler, I'd pick up something watching the tapes of a disciplined human being. I've arranged for you to wrestle Ricky Rhombus next week on War Zone. Light up that crowd like you've always done, cause remember, I'll be watching.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell is right? Given the history, given what we've seen over the years with Robbie Deuce, nobody knows for sure if he's making a genuine effort to rehabilitate himself, if he really sees the error of his ways. He wasn't willing to apologize for anything. He wasn't willing to repent for anything that he's done. I don't blame Dynamite Danny Axel one bit for not trusting him. A man that definitely isn't going to trust the likes of somebody like Robbie Deuce as this man. After 18 long months of torture and torment with his life put on the line, put in critical danger, putting this man in the proverbial crossroads. Ding has made his deal. He no longer needs to worry about being a vengeful spirit. Got a whole new future ahead of him as he initiates his first attack here, the padded low blow. He could get right back to where he was before. He could try and get back to what he was trying to do before Robbie Deuce even became a part of his life, before he took control of the life of Ding. He'd do everything in his power to become a two-time KPW World Heavyweight Champion, and that would be a hell of a hunter for Popcorn Papi to have to worry about. You saw K-Dogg make his move last week on the program. We know that Jedi has that lethal lottery contract waiting in the wings, waiting for his time to strike, waiting for his moment to strike over the course of the next calendar year. He has until Spring Stampede in 2027 to seal the deal. And to add on top of all of that pressure, you have somebody like Ding on the hunt, on the chase. And we've seen how persistent Ding can be when he's in the hunt for something. Just ask the wild card, Robbie Deuce. Another low blow to Nick Flawless. A man that is just looking to secure the biggest victory of his career here tonight. Flawless, he's been counted out. He's been overshadowed by a lot of his peers. As the months have built up, the years have built up.
2, 3, 4.
He knows that somebody out there is watching. He knows that somebody
8,
is going to take note of him should he defeat Ding here tonight.
11.
Out of 11, they have until 20 to return to the ring. And Ding takes his sweet time, reoccupying that premises. A mean right hook by Nick Flawless. Fujiwara armbar countered by Ding. Running drop kick, head full of steam. And we're seeing shades of the old Ding coming back to the limelight, coming back to the forefront here tonight.
2, 3.
And it's that energy, it's that fire burning inside that got Ding to the World Heavyweight Championship before. He knows damn well he could do it again. Irish whip, military press, slamming down Nick Flawless. Following up with a surfboard stretch, very systematically taking him apart, limb by limb, piece by piece. Not one, but two low blows. Gotta be at least half a dozen at this point. Ding sweeping up the legs, Going for a scorpion ding lock. Is Nick gonna tap? And he holds on. Whip it to the corner. Dinger splash. This is the first time that we've seen Ding in action since June of 2025. It has been 10 whole months since we've seen this man compete on Warzone. The last time we saw him in competition before Spring Stampede was at Summer Spark. And man, has he been on one hell of a streak since he came back at Collision Course. Dang, drilling an elbow right into the shoulder blades of Nick Flawless. Taking the feeling away from the arms of Nick Flawless, cutting off any kind of blood flow. That could make it even harder for Nick Flawless to execute that flawless elbow. Dang, hatching up one hell of a plan here. Tree of Woe, dinger, splash, cover, and another kick out by Greek Machismo. If there's one thing that he won't be discounted for after this bout, it's his intestinal fortitude. Dang goes low on Greek Machismo. Running clothesline. And Nick Flawless getting back to his feet, but I don't think he realized the danger he just placed himself in. Scorpion ding drop. That's all she wrote.
2, 3.
You can count to 1,000,000. Greek Machismo looks at the stars tonight. At Spring Stampede, it was Robbie Deuce. Last week on the anniversary edition of Warzone, it was Steven Gilbert, and now Nick Flawless has been put away by the dinger here tonight. But don't adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, we still have more to follow as K-Dogg, the Pitbull, the Judas of Bunker Hill, will be issuing his official statement regarding everything that transpired, the strike that shocked the world, brought to a standstill as he turned his back and stuck a knife right in the back of the world heavyweight champion, Popcorn Papi. And speaking of the devil, look at the confidence of this man on display. He knows damn well what he did. Who knows how long he was planning out an attack like that? He feels like he's wasted enough time lurking in the shadows of Bunker Hill, and he picked one hell of a night to strike. With the World Heavyweight Championship still firmly in his possession, he is not the world champ, folks. That is the stolen artifact of Popcorn Papi, and this forum is letting him hear it. They won't even let him get a word in. Story of triumph turning immediately into heartbreak as K-Dogg has shattered the trust of all the Kumite faithful in attendance here tonight.
Your travel bag feeling a bit lighter this week, bud. This is how a real world champion should look. Monkeys in the truck, mute the crowd mics because they don't deserve any respect. You know, last month, when Pando beat me within an inch of my life, it got me thinking about something. In that moment of time, as that big bastard toyed around with me, I remember looking up that aisleway and praying that you would run down to save me. Solo didn't get that treatment. Popo didn't get any help. Moments like that, these candid life flashing before your eye moments. It made me ask myself a very important question, not like you were ever gonna give us the time. Why did I depend so much on a person I couldn't tell to their face that I hated them this past year? What compelled me to want you of all people to save me? Popcorn Papi, you're a selfish bastard of a man. A bald-headed bitch just like the bald-headed bitch you beat to win this championship in my hand. All I've heard from you ungrateful dry heaving freaks in the past week was ask why. What happened to brotherhood? Your brotherhood was a joke. Bunker Hill was never about us. I'd bet my left nut it wasn't even about stopping Parliament. It was all about you. It was all about you needing just enough of an insurance policy to make sure you could rob somebody blind to become a world champion. And you knew I was your most capable guy too, didn't ya? All this bullshit talk about the founding fathers of the group. All because I joined to avoid becoming a victim of circumstance. You couldn't handle an operation like this growing so out of control, having somebody like me hop on board after day one. So if you were going to use me as cannon fodder to get the World Heavyweight Championship, I was going to use you as a stepping stone once this never-ending war burned out. I came here 18 months ago not just to become the world champ. I came here to be the man, and it's about time I did something about it.
And it's about time that the world champion did something about the amount of disrespect from the pit bull. Running down Bunker Hill, running down the shared bond that all four of them had.
It's the paper champion.
And he's still
Was the
talking
free
that
sample
trash.
From last week not enough? Come on down, cause I'm gonna kill you, you son of a bitch.
And two brothers, two former brothers in arms, fighting amongst one another. K-Dogg doing it for his own personal glory. This selfish son of a bitch threw so much away in the name of being the perfect corporate champion. And Popcorn Papi, he's doing the right thing. He's giving him hell. He's looking to dish out all the punishment that he could possibly think of here. Popcorn Papi, K-Dogg, they've been waiting a whole week to get their hands on each other. Once again, Popcorn Papi looking to set things right against this would-be brother, this Judas, and K-Dogg. And the lights have gone out. What the hell is going on now? Solo rushing down to the ring. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Was Solo in on the plan? Did he conspire with K-Dogg last week? Did K-Dogg choose to leave Bunker Hill? Or did these men just commit a mutiny on the world champion? What the hell is going on? Things just continue to get worse for the World Heavyweight Champion. As Solo just drills Popcorn Papi with a pile driver on the floor.
Knockout.
Popcorn Papi looking to get some modicum of revenge this week. He was looking to shut up that big mouth on K-Dogg. He was looking to get his world championship back. And it looks like Solo has struck a deal with the devil himself. Who knows what kind of state Bunker Hill is in at this point? Who knows where Popo stands in all this? We're gonna find out about that next week on War Zone. This should have been a moment, a victory lap, a moment of triumph for the world champion, and it's resulted in nothing but heartbreak as these two traitors have taken the things that mattered most to this man. As K-Dogg has taken the world championship, dangled it over his head, and Solo has been lulled in by the silver tongue of the pit bull. And that is all the time we have here tonight, folks. I've been Tapey Styles, the only man that can call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. And there's going to be some hell to pay for Bunker Hill soon enough. Good night,